Please note that this video contains spoilers for the subject and the series and/or franchise leading up to this entry. Put off by how long this video is? Don't worry, I try to jam-pack my videos with as much content and as much detail as I possibly can. Anything I feel I can comment on and that I feel you might be interested in, I pretty much put in the video. I try not to repeat myself and talk fairly fast. The Simpsons Season 6 Thoughts. Now, this season also had some animatics and animatics with illustrated commentary. And suspect profiles. Yes. Bart of Darkness. This is a really excellent Rear Window parody. Complete with James Stewart showing up twice. It really, yeah, it's quite clear from these first 7 seasons the people making Simpsons are huge, or at least back then, huge Hitchcock fans. And good. It shows in very funny ways that it's way too hot. Homer, I noticed the refrigerator was cold. And well, there's overload the motor, and on cue is always great in fiction when the moment someone realizes something is the moment that it starts mattering. Can you set the oven to cold? I have another idea. Marge, can you set the oven to cold? And Homer fighting to keep watching TV, and only at the end does he finally react to them being, okay, the TV, he can't watch TV anymore. Yes, he's not even like angry. He says, oh, I can't watch TV, but my kids are here. Sure, what do you want, kids? And can we have a pool, Dad? Can we have a pool? I really love that, Bart goes on for just a little bit too long. Lisa's the one, run in charge of when they're doing it and how they're doing it, and he's, they say it at the exact same time, but then he goes on for like a few seconds too much. Yeah. Where the buyer is our chum. Yeah. And Maggie carrying the tables. Deal with Mrs. Bart. Your epidermis is your hair, huh? I said, ha ha. I'm sorry, that leg's gonna have to come off. Did I say leg? I meant that wet bathing suit. Oh great, I get to spend the summer with my brain. What fun could you possibly have? What fun, you ask? Permit us to demonstrate. And you've got the cage / the menagerie, and classic Krusty. Depends on what you mean by crisis. Grown indeed. That's that's a politician right there. And the Blob, and Homer doesn't want Lisa to be taken by it. That's nice at least. Chlorine, eh? Bart changes so fast. I swear I don't know where the mines are. And I wasn't informed. And the police chopper. And Skinner really is that boring. And he actually sees Jimmy Stewart in Rear Window, it's always like when you have characters. Just great when you have two characters that are literally doing the exact same thing. They're spying on their neighbors, and they happen to at the exact same time spot each other. And yeah, and watching Flanders, there's got to be some other explanation. I wish there was some other explanation. I'm a diddly urdler. That's horrible in principle. And Lisa turning off her brain. An even wussier kid has an even better pull than this. And Lisa's brain comes back, and it's hard and feathered. And Lisa's Grace Kelly pose they point out in the commentary also. And something sweet for later. And Bart reads from his play. And that is, you know, some of the best poetry in the world has been written by people who were completely socially isolated for way too long. And the human head and then human head of lettuce and the movie phone cops. And Bart keeps stepping into stuff that makes his walking more uncomfortable. And then Flanders is just putting away the axe. Accidents. And Flanders faints. Flanders' scream. I'm sorry if that sounded sarcastic. And apparently Dan was the one voicing Stuart. And Maggie Roswell, who also voices Maud, did Ned's scream. Lisa's rival. Winona Ryder does a great job. Wasn't running. And I'm gonna need a bigger drill. Homer, you need to be running the drill. Stop blowing my sex. And Maggie plugs her ears with pacifiers. How many of those does she have on her at any given time? Yeah, Judgment Day. Anyone besides Ron, this better not be about your cat. And just skipped ahead. Me too, indeed. And Bart's driving. That was downright decent of you. Texas tea! Sweetener! And Homer fills the car up to their mouths with sugar. Bart! Stop inhaling precious sugar. Lisa! I am nice. Why would you ever, under any circumstances, eat food that Homer prepared? Those are prizes. Ooh, a blasting cap. Someone's been practicing. And Lisa coming to tries and believe me, this is not a dream. That's what you should have done at the end of Inception. This is not a dream. Then you'd know. Hello, firstborn within earshot. I mean, my number one girl. Oh, for crying out loud. Graceland, you're thinking of bears, Mom. And Homer can barely even stop eating the sugar right in front of the door. Great, now I'm grounded. I can't stand to see. Order fewer cards. Woohoo, 4-day weekend. And later on, he straight up says, I think it's Bart who asks, do you even have a job anymore? I think it's pretty obvious that I don't. I think that might be one of the seasons past season 7. I'm not saying everything past season 7 is bad. And the second best band. Why would they come to our concert just to boo at us? I don't care. I prefer my phrasing. Professor, genuine class. I have a ball. Perhaps you'd like to bounce it. And Homer with the sugar. They're defending themselves somehow. You'd think he'd learn from season 1. The important thing is we survive. Enough with the hose. and the B-men. And he's clearly like, you know, the yeah, you know, B-men, B-man, Batman. He's the Alan West Batman. To the B-mobile. You mean your Chevy? Yes. And, you know, Nelson had warned the other students, so they were ready with the plastic. It should only hit the faculty. I begged you. And Milhouse's glasses are fixed. The easily distracted crowd. I mean, I think I hear something. I really like the you know, not only is the Telltale Heart made into a diorama here, you know, it's they genuinely parody it with her hearing the ticking of it from under the floor. Yeah, this doesn't deserve to win. And Dan and Yardley are on the commentary, really great. Another Simpsons clip show. I'd have to say this episode is just, you know, okay. It's probably my least favorite clip show in these 7 seasons. There's so little new footage. Oh, Marge, it's not that badly written. He threw it into another episode. The fireplace in the bedroom is romantic. So the children walked home without jackets. That, or the animators forgot to take season into account. Or maybe just felt that the clip needed voiceover. Soon I will kill you. But not the last. That's one of the only good parts of this episode. Itchy and Scratchy Land. It's great how after that first cartoon, then Itchy and Scratchy start talking, and they do this ad, and yet there's still some ultra violence, and it's not like, you know, when you see this kind of, like, you know, the Sonic animated show. Yeah. I'm not going to go into detail about I think the Nostalgia Critic said everything that I would be saying about that show, but yeah, the really crappy Sonic animated show that had, like, you know, PSAs occasionally. In those PSAs, you know, it's not like one of the characters is standing there, like, you know, extremely injured and, like, you know, just temporarily. Clearly it takes place outside of the episode, outside of the storyline, and they're not, you know, I mean, there would be, like, dumb stuff, and the characters would, yeah, but here they literally are then, you know, shoving the scissors right through his head. And then, you know, Krusty's like, oh, you go bug your parents. Don't worry, I'm just going to be reading a newspaper. No, seriously, go. And Homer talking Bible. And Bart and Lisa talking Homer and Marge into the trip. I really love the you know, Mom, Dad, Bart's dead. And they that's right, dead serious. It's like, you know, it's like one of those pitches for, like, you know, you'll think I've gone crazy because I'm slashing my price, you know, this big presentation kind of, yeah. And the Amish country, and, you know, ass kicked Homer in the ass. Yeah, Shark Boy. We laughed then, but evidently Homer knew how much that movie would blow. Yes, I used to watch everything that, although I stopped, I watched the very first Spy Kids. Then I was like, okay, I don't think I need to see more of this series, but I did watch Shark Boy and Lava Girl. There was a time when I would watch almost anything that Robert Rodriguez would put out, but see, I don't. If okay, you wanna make kids movies, at least make good ones. I mean, there's so some of the Miyazaki films are very, these are really geared at children. They tend to still be quite good. And I say that as someone who's not into kids. I don't think I've ever been into kids films. Like, when I was a kid, I didn't want to watch something that was like really, oh, this is for kids. I would rather watch stuff like the first Neverending Story movie. Something that a child could watch, although it's, this is going to mess you up for life, but, hello, welcome to my channel. It's like, comparatively, I don't think a child would get much out of, like, Interstellar, because there's so much heady stuff that they wouldn't be able to follow it. But, yeah, a movie like Neverending Story, it doesn't talk down to children. It has, interesting themes and elements, and, yeah. And, yeah, I love the, Grandpa gets, he has to watch the house and take care of the pets, and then the moment that they leave, wait, what was that last thing you said? And then he's like rambling at the pets, and I just love their eyes, and it's, again, they clearly understand. They might not understand exactly what he's saying, but they clearly understand that what he's saying doesn't make sense. Which one of you is the mailman? And that's Homer's ace. 25,000 miles. Oh, it happened again. And the radio. I'm not tired. I'm not tired at all. Hey, it's a shortcut. It's supposed to be a challenge. That's why they call it a shortcut. If it was easy, it would just be called the way. And, with each in Scratchland, you have some Disneyland, some Jurassic Park, some Westworld. Nurse's Station not operating today. And Maggie wants to hit someone too. You disgust me. Oh, look at that cute little baby X. See, Homer? That's why your robot never worked. And the log ride. And the pro-Nazi film he made. Scratch-tasia. I really wish they wouldn't scream. I quite like the Pinocchio. Now you be a good Pinocchio, and don't you lie. I promise I will never hurt you. And then the nose right through the eye. And then you're like, do you think that it's true that this violent cartoons, what was it, desensitize us to violence? And then they see the robot, quote unquote, die really violently. Want to get a snow cone? Yeah, sure. Let's get a taco. And the robot's going berserk. They chopped off my hair. I'm ugly. And Homer literally throws everything he has at them. With a drag who like, man, I can be an action hero. Here are 2 free passes, but there's 5 of us. Here are 2 free passes. And Yardley and Dan are also on this commentary, and they talk about how the episode was done in part as a response to increasing censorship. You can't do so much, all this itchy and scratchy violence. Oh yeah, we'll see. Sideshow Bob Roberts. And as you can tell by the short intro, it was a long episode, so yeah, that's great. And I really love the title reference. That movie is underrated. And Birch Borlow is really clearly Rush Limbaugh. Only turkeys have left wings. You could fit a whole lot of turkeys in here. And the 3 things. I am no longer illiterate. And fireworks. When you're driving, we can listen to you radios. Yeah. Myopic or intransigent. Attempted murder. What? Attempted chemistry. And Oliver North was railroaded. Yeah, that's exactly what the And Mo is scarily ready to use violence. It's like, yeah, that's, and I mean, that has happened. People have listened to the radio and then gone out and done something really horrible. So, satirizing that. Hey, who pulled the pin on this one? And the Republicans, yeah. Hello, Bart. I can do that. Help! I'm being attacked by, things. More important than coal? And metal. And then, they just put stickers on. Stay out of Riverdale. This time he's the lesser of two evils. A, he'd say. Then B. C would usually follow. And the ad with, he let Sideshow Bob out, a murder, an attempted murder. Vote Sideshow Bob. And the less whining, talk about your softball, hardball questions. And, it's like that Nixon-Kennedy debate where TV viewers and radio listeners thought opposite candidates won. I don't approve of his Bart killing policy, but I do approve of his Selma killing policy. And he wins and he goes to take a speech, and that maniacal laugh, and Kent Rhymes, just look at how happy he is. And apparently, and I feel bad I feel bad for him about this, although he is a Republican, so, but Kelsey Grammer apparently hates doing that laugh. That's really, and that really sucks because we love hearing it. It's the rapture! Get Bart out of the house before God comes! Bart copes with kindergarten really well. He's just happy he's finally doing well in class and getting to play in between recess. Like common trolls. How could a convicted felon get so many votes while another convicted felon could get so few? Not the good kind of records. Arthur B. Ablabab. And you've got the Deep Throat parody. And the hair somehow doesn't tell them that it's Smithers. Matt Groening has talked about how, and on some of the commentaries and such, a great visual design of a cartoon character, someone that you can recognize by silhouette. And yeah, we can so clearly tell that it's Smithers. A gorilla. The dead have risen and are voting Republican. Now it's personal. He did try to kill me. Why not let dead pets vote? Isn't one of the newspapers. And they call Birch smart, and then all he can do is stammer. Hey, Ringo wanted to sing more, okay? You want the truth? And then the newspaper says, toddlers topple mayor. Not quite toddlers, no. I do love this episode, but the South Park episode where Cartman's Rush Limbaugh is way better than this. Smurfberries. And they talk about in the commentary how it's based in part on Watergate. And they say, the character is not based on Rush Limbaugh, is it? Because Rush Limbaugh is on a lot of pills. That's true, it's been proven, so you can't sue us for saying that. Treehouse of Horror V. We control the transmission. I love Homer making the, ooh, this is my voice. This is my voice on TV. And all the noises he makes to see it do the, yeah. Bloop, 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 bloop. And this is by far my favorite Treehouse of Horror episode of these 7 seasons. And after 3 long trips, finally, yeah, they don't say 3, but it's been another long trip, yeah. That's odd. Usually the blood gets off at the 2nd floor. What's haggis? Not, what do you mean chop us into? Just, what's haggis? That's Willie's time. That's Willie time. I owe you a Coke. And the red rum. We'll just have to wait and see. And Mo. Hi, Homer. Mo, give me a beer. No, not unless you waste your family. Why should I kill my family? I love how that, because they never ask. You know, there's never, you know, in all of these, you know, haunted stories and such where someone gets driven insane and decides to kill, they're never like, what would be the reason? What's the logical? How do I get from where I am to wanting to kill people I love? What exactly? You know, it's always, yeah, and Mo's like, they'd be much happier. Goes, you don't seem so happy. Well, I'm happy. I'm very happy. La 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 la. See? Now waste your family. I'll give you a beer. And what he's typed will be a window into his insane. And then feeling fine. And then the you know, he wrote on all the walls and what do you think, Marge? All it needs is a title. I mean, it is one of those one sentence, you know, it's 2-sentence horror stories almost. So yeah, all it needs is a title. I was thinking along the lines of no TV and no beer make Homer something something. Go crazy? Don't mind if I do. You know, he's like, oh, yeah, sure, I can do that. Because technically, you know, it is the form of the word. It is the you know, you could read those two words, so, you know, as a suggestion or as description. You know, they make him go crazy or go crazy. And just all the things, all the noises he makes, the faces he pulls, break glass in case of spousal insanity, and then scaredy cat, and then he looks at his own reflection, and he falls down, and then he just sits there stuffing his face. You know, with Nicholson, you really have this sense like he wants out, he wants to, you know, and Homer's just, I got food, whatever. Homer, me and the ghouls have been thinking, it's, you know, you're not doing well on this killing thing. Can't kill now. Eating. And then the evening show's opening lines, you know, here's Johnny. Oh crap, this is the wrong door. And he keeps going through the various ones. And then Grandpa actually made it. Is that the best you can do? I hope that rug was Scotch guard. Wow. Television, teacher, mother, secret lover, urge to kill fading, fading, rising, fading. Go on. Homer, change channel. Can't. Frozen. And again, they get the Nicholson thing in there. It's just the reason it's frozen is been sitting there watching TV, and he says, "Let's bask in the in TV's warm, glowing, warming glow." That's a really bad idea, actually. So yeah, it's, and you know, and then he's saying, rising, and Maggie's eyes moved. Oh no. And then the next, you know, sitting in this house in this great country, it just makes me feel like I'm really a lucky man. Dad, your hand is jammed in the toaster. Dad, it's in there again. Get this over. Better than new. What did you put in there? That's the one time he fixes a household object really, really well. You know, it's only the alternate, these, you know, these stories that don't happen in the main continuity where yeah. Correction, Homer, you're the second. Shut up. Quiet, you. I've gone back to a time where dinosaurs weren't just confined to zoos. And then, the I don't know, murmur of the one dinosaur. And that world totally is what, that is totally what the world would be like if Flanders ran it in his image. And there's like a deleted scene where apparently like they mention that like everyone is happy and there's it really is an ideal world, and Homer's just like, that's not my ideal, what an awful world. So yeah, I've watched the episode far more times than I watched that deleted scene, so I don't remember exactly. And Flanders is the unquestioned Lord and Master, and then big smiles. Just sit back and let the hooks do their work. What are you smiling at? And then yeah, he's running away from the dogs, and he gets out the hot dogs. These wieners will give me the energy. Yeah. You think that he's gonna throw them so that the dogs stop chasing him and eat the... And they do another joke like that later in the season. Mustn't crush, mustn't kill, made it! Oh, I wish I hadn't killed that fish. Hey, there's a bug that looks like Dad. Let's kill it. Why are characters in stories like this so quick to kill a bug? Or the like that looks like a relative? That really is very disturbing. But, I mean, if they had, they would have killed their father just as surely as... Yeah. Man, that is a stupid ending. I'll admit, I haven't watched the original The Fly, but I have seen that ending scene, and they talk about it in the DVD of the DVD extras of the remake of the David Cronenberg The Fly. And yeah, that really, I've read the short story and the ending is the same in the movie. So yeah, that is a stupid ending. And then they all sneeze to death, and yeah, this is gonna cost me. Oh, I mean, hey, I've hit the jackpot. Marge, my dear, would you kindly pass me a donut? Donut? What's a donut? And he just freaks out and runs off. It's raining again. If he'd stayed for just a few seconds more, it would literally... Yeah. This is indeed a disturbing universe. I really love that. They don't have Maggie talk very often, but when they do, it's really golden. And Kang and Kodos. Yeah, close enough. I should have thought of that. Favorite outfit is your only outfit. Great, now I gotta work in the dark. And Skinner talking Ooder, and then, at the end there, he goes a little too far. You might even say that we ate Ooder, and he's in our stomachs right now. You should probably forget that one. Homework, eat a stick of butter. Any one of us could be next. In the commentary deletes in something, they mentioned that apparently Homer was the one who wrote The Joys of Eating Millhouse. So yeah, that's... And the free-range children. Ugh, I'm bad at this. I really love that they have that running gag in all three stories, that Willie comes to try to save at least the Simpson children, and it goes wrong. Yeah. Or, yeah, a Simpsons family member, and each time axe to the back of his... Yeah. There's nothing at all to worry about, except that fog that turns people inside out. I really love the blood that spatters when they make sudden moves in the song and dance number. And they mentioned in the commentary the episode is scary as well as funny. And Terry and Sherry were originally going to be, among the children turned into food, with teriyaki steaks with sherry sauce. Yeah, and when Bart and Lisa say they're eating children in the school cafeteria, Homer was supposed to go, children, and then go on a speech about wanting to but not being able to eat children, and he'd written a book about eating Milhouse, and what ended up staying of that bit is, in the episode, is that the book is in Krabappel's hands. And the inside-out gas was based on something one of the commentary people was scared by when he was younger. Bart's girlfriend. Meryl Streep really can play anything. A great couch gag with the eyes being there before the people, and you thought that because you just see the eyes, it's, yeah. Dances in underwear and thinks too much. Church, and violin lesson. And the church lesson. Something that has such bizarre hair. I'm telling you, the light would work better if it pointed out to sea. And then, I hate the sea and everything in it. Thank you for choosing our church. We know you have a choice, and it looks like you made the wrong one. I don't think God's word has ever sounded so plausible. And you're the devil's cabana boy. What's prodigal mean? And the slingshot, and he's, just to show you what's in. Don't worry, don't mind me. I'm just gonna bend over while Bart Simpson has it in his hands. Yeah. There is just no pleasing a girl like that. And lo did our forever unwanted let forth a roar of approval. And the sting operation. No offense, lady. And then he says that. And then he keeps saying but, and then make him stop, as though it's causing physical pain. No, you're bad, and I like it. I'm bad to the bone. And then poor Sarah. And what you then realize is she invited him to dinner specifically to upset her parents. She knew who he was, and she invited him to, she didn't have to do that. She could have just said, I do actually like that you're bad, before inviting him to dinner. But she really wanted to see her parents freak out like that. We see that over the course of the, more of the episode where she does these really awful things and gets him to do these really awful things with her. You can't trust your perception at this altitude. And, actually, if the surface maintains its integrity, and then, the oil, and then the ball bearings, that glue ain't going nowhere. And then he's blowing anger bubbles in the glue, as you do. And Marge and Homer are eating non-distinct gray mush. Did Homer cook with sugar again? I'd be afraid of smothering him. Yeah, and then we'd get the chair. That's not what I mean. It was, Marge. Admit it. Yeah, and this is the same bit where he also says, there's something different about, there's something going on with Bart. New glasses? No. I think there's like something's bothering him. Probably misses his old glasses. If I don't save the wee turtles, who will? Save me from the wee turtles. They were too quick for me. After all, I deserve it. And then, if only someone could tame him. Okay, if I can just get through this many days. You thought he already had, it's and it's again, they're using this cinema shorthand and poking fun at it, and really, you see him cross out all those. You assume that's days passing that Yeah, where he didn't see her, but yeah. We clearly see him circle Monday. Why are they going to church on a Monday? IMDb already has this as listed as a goof. Don't. It takes money to start a new life. What is it, a Unitarian? Ah, he confessed. Stop him! He's headed for the window! And that was an added joke, but it does show just how slow Homer's mind works. And I just don't feel like it, okay? You aren't very nice. Duh. Her hair smells like Fruit Loops. Oh yeah? Well, I eat Fruit Loops for breakfast. Keeping an eye on left keys. Well, come on, use your imaginations. Perhaps we pulled you out of a little too prematurely. I was expelled, Dad. And as one of the things she mentions is the Glee Club brawl. That's wow. And the ending's great. And the great laugh by Bart. And Julie Kavner is on the commentary, and they point out that Jessica's rebelling against the repression in her household, so more than Bart, because there's much more repression in her household. Lisa on ice. I will not dissect things unless instructed. Just want to suck the fun out of everything. An explosion. Reagan dies. His hair. Infotainment News, reporting the death toll before anyone has died. He threw it into the other episode's fireplace. Again. I like those odds. And the snowball fight. Let's start with the bees. Bart! And name that one. The times they are becoming quite different. Newton, failing Jim. The mysteries of life. And I love the dribbling the basketball. Don't. Kids, that was her only ball. There'll be no team this year. And that confirms, yeah, though they apparently are solid spikes. The hair. I tried. Get some rope. You call that blowing? It's distinctly more like sucking. But since I bet on the other team, we won't be going out for pizza. Here's your turtle, alive and well. There's only one way to be sure. Try a hard one. Way to knock out my teeth. And it hasn't. Our president-elect, frickin' Comey. What he meant was that Monster Island was actually a peninsula. Do you have my teeth? No. Please, Dad, I'll be fine. Why do parents do that? Marge stares. Whither? By blocking the net, I really think you helped your team. It's wrong for you to encourage violent, competitive behavior, but I will sit next to you if it's a gesture of fatherly love. Okay. Sucker! Violent, competitive behavior. That's why you're here. And I would like to say it's because of teamwork. But who am I kidding? Maybe I will. And we don't see until after the montage that the answers were all wrong. It's a lucky coincidence that you happen to be your sister's brother. The odds were against him. Not only the relation, but also After all, a young woman is born only every 500 years. And to be seen. Mouth of a teamster. All the time I wasted on you. Well, not wasted. I love you. I think you blew it, Homer. I love Bart's moronness in Lisa's room. You know, get out of your room. That doesn't make sense. I pulled off the head of Mr. Honeybunny. That's your favorite childhood, treasured childhood toy. Oh, I'm going, Homer, don't you eat this pie. So that's where they get it. I don't want to see you fighting like that. No, you should use melee weapons instead. And then, yes, Marge literally says, you're not in competition. And then Homer comes up, you will be in direct competition, and I don't want to see you go easy on each other just because you're brother and sister. And now Moe doesn't know Marge's name, even. Conserve your precious hatred for the game. We can't possibly love Maggie the most. What has she done? Nothing for nobody. It doesn't even occur to Homer that Marge doesn't favor any of the three kids over the other two. And the kids clearly prefer Marge. I shouldn't turn down those cue cards. Kill Bart! Kill Bart! Kill Bart! Surrender Dorothy or surrender Dorothy. Great game, Lise. Great game, Bart. I've never been more proud of them. They're both losers. Losers! Let's tear this place apart. Oh well. And on the commentary, they point out schools are great, causing permanent trauma from public humiliation, telling everyone what specific kids are bad at. And the adults don't care about putting kids in harm's way. They just want to win. And this is Matt Groening's all-time, or was when he recorded the commentary, all-time favorite act break, Homer taunting the kids. And one good deed creates thousands of bad ones. Homer Badman. I will not whittle hall passes out of soap. That's an A for effort, Bart. Darn FDA. Don't put them back in the box, they go in the trash. You leave me no choice but to ask you nicely again. What did you do with that sniper rifle of yours? Please the hobo, please the hobo, please the hobo. Marge, Mom, how can you leave us with this maniac? And also, there's a baby somewhere upstairs. I really love Ashley dealing with Bart. Ow. Mr. Goodbar to the front desk. The front desk is looking for Mr. Goodbar. You're going to have to put some sugar on that celery. Get out, ma'am. And it winks at him. Must have. Oh, how'd they get there? And the Pop Rock soda grenade, just like we know. Yeah. Obviously that would work. See? She's having the time of her life. And nobody's blaming you. Thank you. That's the spirit, kids. Some of those chants are very catchy and memorable. That's the oldest excuse in the book. Okay, go. Homer, Oh God, help me, God! And then the phone rings. Hello? Homer, this is God. Free Jones, and yeah. We go undercover at a sex farm for sex hookers. And the edited tape and the clock on the wall behind him proving how it jumps back and forth. And the Under the Sea song. I don't think Cartman is willing to share. Nothing ever blows over for me, and then the car blows over. Hey, that's a half-truth. I don't want to know which half. They made that movie quickly. And the live coverage. I'm pretty sure that's Homer in the oven. We got the real dirt. The TV spent so much more time raising us than you have. Are you hugging the TV? We needed a channel that doesn't know the word of the meaning of the word entertainment. I'll be deep in the cold, cold ground before I recognize Missouri. 2 calls. That's her best ever. The most amateur video I ever saw. As long as everybody is videotaping everybody else. You're both right. And then the list of corrections. Marge, my dear, I haven't learned a thing. The Simpsons moral summed up. And this is also a commentary with Julie Kavner. Grampa versus sexual inadequacy. And you have seen every night for the last 11 years. Yeah, I mean... and the button pops off. Don't turn on the light! Don't turn on the light! And then, you know, she's not even listening to what Bart says. It's just, you know, can I sleep in your room? No. Can I sit on the roof with a baseball bat in case a real UFO does come? Yeah, sure, fine, whatever. And then we see him climb up there, and we can get a book. Ooh, okay, a tasteful book. And then we see Bart falling off. I'm just following up on my interest in artillery. And the Al Gore, yeah. And the bath. And the hotel. I broke 2 lamps and lost all your mail. See you next time, we need your signature. And the effects of the potion. And the stock footage festival. And the stubble immediately regrows. Spend more time with Dad? What about my New Year's resolution? You threw them out. Where are my pants? You threw them out the window last night in a fit of passion. You said you were never going to need them again. You just be ready with that garbage bag. Again, as if it's like actually dangerous to them. That there's, you know, as if it's like toxic waste or something. After years of disappointments with get-rich-quick schemes, I know I'm going to get rich with this scheme, and quick. Hey, you look like a man who has trouble satisfying his wife. Wow. And the nutty professor, and they straight up do the transformation. Every single night. How did Hibbert find out that Grandpa made it in his bathtub? Carry on. Telephone explosions. If it's in a book, it's gotta be true. And Grandpa lists the places, yeah. That is correct. How come his face is on the bottle? Why did they try to trick them? Their product works. I thought, you know, I was hoping maybe the commentary would clarify, but no, unless I missed it or something. And the conspiracy talk in the treehouse. Reverse vampires. What? Does that mean they lactate blood from their fangs? Do bats turn into them? Let's go find that hot dog tree I planted. And the sour milk. And the house collapses on them. If this house could talk, it would say, and then one thing after, lands on him too. Quit your daydreaming, melonhead. It's okay. I'll be okay as long as I can remember my tree. Dang. Are you really gonna ignore Grandpa for the rest of his life? No. For the rest of your life? No. Just the rest of his life. A fiendish plot to eliminate the meal of dinner. Your mother and I are going through a very chewy, chocolatey, nutty, put it away, boy, situation. I can't breathe. And as usual, he completely forgot Maggie, and Maggie's covered in chips. And he just puts Maggie down on the ground. You can be present. Scratch that. You will be present. Homer, you're going way too far in the other direction now. But I'm using my whole ass. Some of that love can be scary. I have to do some serious thinking. I think he meant serious drinking, that's what I assumed. When I actually got to meet Santa Claus, you wanna run through that, just consider that one more time, Homer. This photo is a blessing. It eases my pain, and then he accidentally sets it on fire. And that again, what did you think was going to happen? You're standing there with a lit, yeah, whatever. Yeah, the wick is burning, and you lower it, and a very burnable photo. Yeah. You've done all the damage you're gonna do. Nope, one more bit of damage. Well, I hadn't thought that far ahead. One thing, why aren't Homer and or Grandpa rich after this episode? Their product works, they were doing well at selling it. After the end of the episode, they're more likely to be able to sell it together. Not to mention that they could work separately and just split the profits. There really should have been some reason why they couldn't keep selling it. Like FDA or the paper with the recipe gets burned, something. Fear of flying. Bancroft is great in this. Smell my flower. And he sprays him with what? Oh, or that. It's raining, man. Not no more, it ain't. And the cheers. My name is Guy Incognito. And it's this... Homer has an exact double whose name is Guy Incognito, who dresses like that, who walks into the bar the exact same night. That's wow. And then the black box. And the whole thing, yeah, sure, I am a pilot because I want to get drunk right now. Then where's your uniform? I stowed it safely in the overhead compartment. You talk the talk. Yeah, because not every single person who's ever taken a plane from somewhere to somewhere else knows what that means. That's, yeah. And I love for moments, you think that Alan will actually prevent it from going wrong. First, oh, okay, there's a co-pilot. Homer will be able to talk him into handling it, and there won't be any, but nope. And then, the very first thing that Homer tries to do, Alan stops, and just, and he's not even doing eeny, meeny, miny, mo. He's just hovering his hand above this one. We need that to live. Good news, everyone, because I endangered lives. And, if this gets out, Crazy Clown Airlines will be a laughingstock. And then, oversold flights, so that, wasn't just a, yeah, that's not only a problem today, and if the episode had been made today, obviously, Grandpa would have been dragged bloody and, yeah. How about we just dope you up real good, like B.A. Baracus? And Grandpa was forgotten Home Alone style, he even does the, We never had a wedding for the cat and the dog. They've been living in sin. And just their faces, they're like, no. Like they've genuinely been caught living in sin. You heard her mother's rambling. She's fine, so behave. And the VH's village, formerly Beta Barn. That's where all the cucks live. Because there may not be bugs on you. And Skinner is there, and he holds up the magazine, and it's his face. I'm like, wow. And then, Bart, you leave that man alone with his pain. Marge, I'm not, we're not here to blame anyone. And she underlines husband. But it's a few seconds before 12 o'clock. And that's also always, sometimes fiction explains it. Sometimes the dude will slip the other guy a 20 and say, I'll take over for you. But sometimes it's like, what happened to the other? Why didn't they show up? I love the Blues Brothers, but why were they so delayed? And it's real fortunate for the Blues Brothers that they show up just then and not the Good Old Boys, I think they're called, the other band. What about me, Marge? I just left my first session. I haven't even opened my mouth yet. You see? I just left my first session and I haven't even opened my mouth yet. Danger, danger, my hooks are flailing wildly. You might even say he was an American hero. Let's not go nuts. Yes, it's all a rich tapestry. And then, there's still the FOMO, important problem with your husband. And then he runs in, no, you don't have to turn into some kind of superwoman. So Homer was listening, at least to that little bit. And it is also a little interesting. She just said, your last check bounced. And then she's still like, but you should come back. So, yeah. Lowenstein. My name is Swag. Lowenstein. And I love Homer talking through the flight. Those are all normal noises. Luggage compartment closing, cross-checking. Just sit back and relax. That's just the engine powering up. That's just the engine struggling. That's just a carp swimming around your ankles. I love that even at that, he's still not like, okay, well, that went wrong, but, he's still saying it as if nothing has gone wrong. Homer the Great. And that's if I order it today, which I won't. Low battery. Emergency call, gotta go. And that really, yeah, that is the experience with way too many, people in that kind of profession. And the tiki head is still there. That's one thing they do have continuity on. And Arnie is the person in the accident. And the list that Homer has, the boy is on it too. Late on the list. And Grandpa's one of the first. Actually, I guess that means that he started that list long before he had Bart. Or he would be far higher, I would think. And it's a secret. And then, it's drinking. Shut up. Homer, I wish you wouldn't stalk people. It's so illegal. Okay, I'm going outside to stalk Lenny and Carl. No. And then he does get to, somehow. She doesn't stop him. Yeah. All I have to do is follow the yellow-dripped road. And then, we've arrived at our secret meeting place. Let's go inside. Yeah, sounds good. Let's say what we're going to do before we do it, and then do it. He must pay the ultimate price. Yes, the ultimate price. Get out of here. Yeah, you'd better run, Egg. Kids can be so cruel. We can? Thanks, Mom. He was just waiting to be allowed. Remember when we what was it? Got that hypnotized so we could ignore Grandpa? Do I ever? It's 5 years later and I still think I'm a chicken. I'm a chicken, Marge. I know. Well, maybe we should be listening to him now. And then I'm a stonecutter, huh? What? How? The paddling of the swollen ass with paddles. That's priceless in Patrick Stewart's voice. Someone so dignified, and when we connect him to Star Trek Next Generation and X-Men, we forget that he's actually a very jokey, silly person when not in character. And what little I've seen of him on American Dad, is also really great. But yeah, like the one of the more recent X-Men movies, he apparently said to Bryan Singer that he wanted to play Mystique. I'm ready to be nude and painted blue, and the world is ready for it too. And obviously he's not being serious, but yeah, the fact that he'd say that, yeah, he has a sense of humor about it, yeah. And then the oath, and it's literally, well, that already happened to Homer though. And the secret handshake. Jealous? Oh, we have the same chair. You're jealous. And 912. You want to know what really happened in the Alamo? You must be 18. You must be over. Yeah. Now let's party like it were 1799. Quaff, quaff, quaff. And he's talking about going to all these nights drinking beer, and then AA meeting is one of them. Yeah, wow. And I love the song. You're really all stupid. Yup. I've learned my lesson. Oh, right. Would lead us to glory. Careful what you wish for. Attach the stone of triumph. And they talk about that on the commentary. Sometimes when something really good happens, it is actually something it ends up being bad for you and such. And they don't mention that as an example, but apparently, I want to say I heard this on the Going Off podcast, a while back. But when Oprah gives someone a car, they, to someone who's really poor, they can't pay for the insurance and the upkeep, and they usually end up having to sell the car to give, and that does mean that ultimately they do get something out of it, but they didn't get out of it what they were hoping to. And yeah, mental note, don't overdo this. And Homer tires of I could get a bunch of monkeys and make them reenact the Civil War. That's so crazy, it might just work. Somebody get the jaws of life. You've won this round. A beautiful sky blue, and then the helicopter crashes. Yeah, and that is like a thing when it's like stylized, animated to it looks like a cartoon. How do you keep something like that from just looking like the real world? And yeah, the ancient club of no homers. Somebody's gonna get parasites. All right. It's Lisa's turn. I love that they put the shut up after they're at the end of the credits. And Dan and Yardley are on the commentary, which is great. And Maggie makes 3. And Nightboat is a really great parody of Knight Rider, and yeah. From, I watched that show when I was a kid. Yeah, it is about as stupid as the Night Boat. Yeah. And then, that back-talking boat set's a bad example. Says you, woman. You're literally making our point. Wow. 2. And Bart's always asleep. And you were the age Bart was several years ago. And Die Hard. I don't think a healthy man can make that kind of smell. Would be too bad if someone didn't use a coaster, and Burns is like practically having a coronary at that. And there's the one crumpled up piece of paper and the, Yeah, when he empties it. I'm being, I'm paralyzed with rage and island rhythms. That's for employing me for 8 years. Man, you're really burning your bridge. Nope, you're literally burning your bridge now. Barney, you're fired. Man, Homer has ruined Barney's life several times over. And only one of you kids can go to college. Fine. They're both like, Lisa wants to, Bart doesn't want to, Bart wants Lisa to, and Lisa doesn't want Bart to. So, yeah. And he runs back and gets sand in there. Mmm. And the fresh, yeah. And seeing it in reflection. Simply a test. Yeah, clearly. Been there, done that. No, you know nothing about genetics. It goes boy, girl, boy, girl. And Homer and God. And baby Maggie coughs. She's coughing for 2. And they call everyone in the phone book, or just the first and the last name, and that was the, yeah, it is technically a, not a montage, but it fades because time has passed, but it's not because they've called every number, it's because they spent some time talking to both people. This is getting very abstract, but thank you. I do enjoy working at the bowling alley. And Ruth Powers is at the baby shower. She hadn't moved to Springfield yet. We saw that episode. That was current, not in flashback. And IMDb also already had that one. And the the door blows open. It's not Homer. And then she goes to close, and then he runs out. Man, it's windy as heck out here. It looks like you're showering Marge with gifts. Little tiny baby-sized gifts. Well, I'll be in the, what was it, shower or something, he goes. And then, oh, by the way, congratulations on your new job. New job? Marge is pregnant? I mean, yeah, if he keeps misunderstanding Marge is pregnant as congrats on the new job, then presumably when he's actually told congrats on the new job, he would misunderstand it as Marge is pregnant, so yeah. And the first of those freakouts wasn't when he first learned about the pregnancy with Bart. We saw that, so that, yeah. They really have terrible continuity on some of these things. When she's first pregnant with Bart, we've seen that scene twice. And was both in flashback, or was the first one already part of a flashback? Well, we saw an extension of that scene later, and then now it's this completely other, yeah. It's very loose continuity. And love the head exploding and the oh, we're doomed, and it sounds like the voice is coming from inside his chest, not out of the mouth. It isn't it? Homer, you had a head, check, and pops up, and your bottom was a little wider. Oh, it sounds like you're blowing more air into a balloon. Mom, make Dad tell the truth. That's what really happened. Oh. Sure we will. As punishment for your desertion, we're giving you the plague. Sorry, that's the plaque. It's just in one ear and out the other, isn't it? And one of the people in the commentary say that, trying to keep promise to themselves, but then immediately taking out on the family. That's what he does. So yeah. My wife, where? Oh boy, here it comes. Another mouth. It's a boy. And what a boy! Mr. Simpson, that's the umbilical cord. It's a girl. Didn't College Humor do a video about that? Like a father realizing that, being told by the doctor that his son hasn't, his baby boy has an abnormally large. Yeah. And immediately she gets her pacifier. I love the ending few seconds, but it is such a retcon. He's looked unhappy sitting there countless times. Bart's Comet. If you have a failing, it's that you're always trying for perfection. If you have a failing. An Iraqi fighter jet. And Bart made it pretty obvious that he did it. He's incredibly creative, but he's terrible at covering his tracks sometimes. There's a 4:30 in the morning now? There's, just rinse it good. It's time for the morning news. Of course, there are no news yet because everyone's still asleep in their comfortable beds. Good night, everybody. And the pets watch Lassie together. And they make I think this is the part also where, Tim is like, oh, here, come here, boy, good girl, or something like that. And the generator, and that's a really good way to show how long they've been at the stargazing. No, that's not necessary. It's already named after me. Even the tiniest adjustment could destroy a whole morning's work. And after all of that, Bart still does it. He's been there for hours, miserable because he did something wrong, and he still does something wrong. Yeah. And then he returns and hears the cell phone. No, 3 times. Yeah. And Prez says, no, it's an early Trump quote. Except I forgot to go to work. But then you've always been proud of me. Yes. and Mose just keeps getting hit. Einstein, what's the plan? And Mayor visits the city. Caution, aim away from face. It's all over, people. We don't have a prayer. And they all try to jump the gap. What is it? Never think things through. Never give up, never think things through. Spirit of our city. In the great state of, The following people are gay. And if I'm wrong, may we all be horribly crushed from above somehow. And the bomb shelter, and it sounds like Homer built it, and then it's Flanders, I built the shelter big enough for both families. No deal, out. So that's what it would take for penguins to fly. What's keeping that stupid comet? There it is. Oh, well, we'll just go off and die. I'll probably regret this when we run out of air and we can't whistle or stay alive, but come on, yeah, I can do that. I'm sorry, please forgive me. No, honey, you stay here because, okay. She just wanted to say it. And Ned had a shell on him, and the kid loads the gun expertly. He's crying, but he's so good at loading that gun. And even certain crushing death, Flanders faces with a positive song. It's a cow, man. And it was a baby ox. Hey, Homer, wait up. I want to die too. The reception there sucked. Wow. Que sera, run! Great bomb shelter, guys. And then we have a Chihuahua for reference. Sure makes you appreciate the preciousness of life. Let's go down. Let's go burn down the observatory so this will never happen again. And Yardley and Dan are on the commentary, and they point out, not the two of them specifically, I don't think, but on the commentary they point out that the last time Bart interrupts Homer on the roof, he looks as angry at his father as he gets. Again, at the time of recording the commentary, he looks as if he's about to punch him. And the shelter not being shared is inspired by a Twilight Zone episode. And again, one that really horrified the person who put it in the episode, and you can see why. I don't think I've watched that Twilight Zone episode. I haven't watched anywhere near as much as I should have of that. Haven't had much chance to. And Waldo's in one brief shot of the inside of the full shelter. And them joining Ned in a song is like a cola commercial. Homie the Clown. Everyday thing. My house is dirty, buy me a clean one. You mean like that bozo? Bonko the Clown, for just a second there, you think it's just going to be Bozo. That is a clown, but yeah. Finders keepers. Whatever you say, Mr. Commercial. Clown college. You can't eat that. Okay, I got everything I was supposed to get. I'm not going to enroll that clown college, though. And he's, you know, he's sitting there and he's dreaming, and his dreams are, yeah. And then the clown college pushes his way into it, and the circus music, and they point out in the commentary also, just perfect. It's like, you know, I think Alf Clausen is the name of the guy doing the music on the show, or was back then anyway. I don't pay attention to the show now. And yeah, it's just spot on. You know, it's not like one specific piece of music from circus. It's the sound of circus that, yeah. And you know, he's sitting there, and you know, I think it's Lenny comes in. Homer, the section you're supposed to be monitoring is on fire, and you know, and he looks back at Lenny, and Lenny's dancing like a clown, and then in roll some more clowns, and they're dancing, you know, and then we see the reality, and they're like trying to put out fire. Clowns are funny. And Homer's sitting there doing the and the family were like, and Lisa like, Mom, I think I'll have some wine. You know, it takes her a while to get to wine, but she does get there, and that is, you know, she's not blind to just how messed up this stuff is, and yeah, just and the, you know, and he's looking at the family, and you know, he's sitting there with the thing, and then he looks at his family, and they're all clowns, and just Bart with and Maggie, yeah, just Marge, yes, homie, do 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 do. I have a feeling she didn't actually go do do do. Yeah, that's it. You people have stood in my way long enough. I'm going to clown college. I don't think any of us expected him to say that. And that is, I mean, earlier when they just did an episode where Homer goes to college, Bart did joke Barbara Clown. So, yeah. And Willie Nelson's house. I've never had a pair of pants that fit this well in my life. Seattle. But if you blow it, you'll look like a fool. I really love the various, the various ways in which Homer fails at the bike stunt. Kill wealthy dowager. What's that gonna cost you? Hey Bill, what did that cost us? If there has to be a bastardized version of Krusty, I'm glad it's you. Oh, good shot. Well, it was my major. Crustaceans. Yeah. That's where Lisa should have said she got the word. All the other piddling crap I wouldn't touch with a 10-foot clown pole. Yeah, I mean, you in touch with a 10-foot clown pole. That's no shot for me. Oh yeah. And the parachute fail. It's the Krusty burglar. Homer, it's all just an act. Stop. He's already dead. Krusty the Clown, everybody. And the Estonian dwarf again. I don't know. My dad's a pretty big wheel at the cracker factory. I will say, one episode that takes place after, from after these 7 seasons, where the whole cracker factory thing comes up. Yeah, that is kind of, the crackers are a family. Yeah, a family thing. Yeah. Wow, Jiffy Lube. When I see those smiles on their little faces, I just know they're getting ready to jab me with something. I'm leaving the clowning business, all the other clowns in the clowning business. If we agree, then why are we arguing? I only consider you scum compared to Krusty. You took all the money you earned and bet them against the Harlem Globetrotters? Kids make a lot of money. Kids have a lot of money these days. After a show, you might consider robbing them, and they'll write it down. If you want to kill me, go ahead and kill me. You don't gotta tell them that twice. I see no harm in that. And even the airplane sound. When he's done in there, I gotta go. Cancel the world search. These are speedos. They make the car go faster. And, you've got the Batman 89 Joker reveal parody with Krusty. And they just keep shooting Flanders. And think I'll go inside. Because, what is that? The Lord of our Shepherd says the song, but just in case, yeah. I told you should have bought more than 3 bullets. Well, maybe. And each name he gives just gets him into trouble. To kill a funny man of such caliber would be a crime, but only just. But I've never been able to. And he keeps, getting the gun even more ready to fire, and it's ready from the first, but yeah. They say in the commentary they didn't think that really worked. I always thought that really worked, personally. I'm the greatest clown in the world. Yeah, that's what I did. Unless, without the loop, it is a nothing. You still owe us the money. $48. Here's 50, and do your change, and we thank you. So he earned less than $50 from the clown college. That's, yeah. Bart versus Australia. Water doesn't obey your stupid rules. Below the equator, this line. So down in Rand McNally, wow, sometimes Bart really is unbelievably stupid. In fact, in Rand McNally, people wear hats on their feet and hamburgers eat people. They say the tide is turning, and old Hitler, and the the guy on the top of the roof as it passes by, and goes, whoa! Anyway, and then he calls collect, just to, sucking in people and the like. Oh, that I don't care about that anymore. Why embarrass us both? Pfft, that's no reason to block the TV. Look at this country. You are gay. That's tough but fair. Bart, go with the man. You're just gonna have to find some other country to have relations with. Are you sure? The prison train is sailing. I'm sorry, that's better. And somebody tried to unbury themselves, but then went down instead of up, and buried skeletons of dinosaurs. No, sir, U.S. Marine Corps, sir. Yeah. Way ahead of you, Dad. And the fixed flushing. Australia, America, Australia, America. Here in America, we don't tolerate that kind of crap, sir. And Snake. I see you've played Knifey Spoony before. And the beer coffee thing is pretty good. You sold us out, Conover. I'll boot him. Sir, so help me God, I'll boot him. And the squeaky voiced teen exists in Australia too. And the gate doesn't work because it's made in the US. I'm impressed you were able to write so legibly on your own butt. And the twist ending music. And the commentary. And it also really love that, Homer, leave the shower. Stop letting it scorch and freeze you. I think that note was supposed to go earlier in the file. Homer versus Patty and Selma. Or Singe, anyway. Bon, you gotta unwrap the plastic. I can get by with one. My house is on fire. Woohoo! It's time to take out the trash. First, I'm gonna have to ask you to leave. Wrong! When are you gonna wake up and smell your husband? Must work harder, and then he falls asleep. Homer, wake up! There's still a few minutes before our usual bedtime. Bart, I told you before, stop gnawing on the drywall. Birds are out, bees are trying to have sex with them. It'll be TS for them, and then it turns out to be tethered swimming. In advance. Bash my head in? Was all on your permanent record. And take the numbers off the... Yeah. And they laugh, and then he laughs. When somebody else is happy near him, he'll sometimes be happy too. Slanty. And Sarandon is really great. The Cootie Platoon. Marge was always a good speller. Absolutely nothing, Marge. Is this projection accurate? Are we in some kind of fiduciary trouble? Homer has brought them into greater debt countless times, though. Sorry, Marge. You either. At best, I was a B+ dog. I'll understand if you want to sleep on the couch tonight. Frankly, he's underneath the table. In that case. And then, who turned on or off the TV? Scared the heck out of me. It started blinking, yeah. And then the leap fails. Like he teased moves and tested and got tested, yeah. And then I will hug snakes. Yes, I will hug and kiss poisonous snakes. Now that's sarcasm. Being true, -1,000,000 points. And the government building. I am in flavored country. Both of them. It's a big country. And you, sir, are worse than Hitler. Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous how anti-smoking. I agree that smoking is awful, and if possible, if at all possible, you shouldn't smoke. But it's been pretty ridiculous how, yeah, there's almost nowhere you can still legally smoke, and yeah. And I'm speechless. You have been ever since your boss showed up. Please ask me to kill for you. Call of the Dead? Well, Call of the Dead? That's off. Let's go, Marge. Woohoo! And the on the commentary they point out that the Homer Patty Selma A story is a lot like a sitcom. A Star is Burns. More John Lovitz, really great. And in the couch gang, only Bart is bothered by their sizes. And you see the zoo animals go directly into Krusty Burger. We all suck. We all, hey! You've stolen my soul! Oh, that's right, I'm crippled. And he had to count to see that he was one man. Ah, no, I'm just going to say something. 40 rods to the hog's head. Don't push your luck! Don't push your luck! And God is a Flanders, although he does sound more like Dr. Hibbert than Ned. I wish I was dead. Oi. McBain. No, my ears are really burning. Look what you made me write. From here they appear to be tied, but I will go in for a closer look. On closer inspection, these are loafers. And that was apparently, ad-libbed by Dan doing a temp voice for Harry. The last bit, these are loafers. Hey, I'm landing here. And the name on the sign. And the Imperial March on Burns' office. Senior Spielbergo. But, crap, what is it? I can't believe I can't remember. Yeah, but Schindler is, a great person. Burns is El Diablo. Hey, we both made shells for the Germans. Just mine worked. And the dinner, revenge chomping just isn't as satisfying as you'd think. And the awards. Who's gay? Harvey Fierstein. No. And Marge humoring Homer. Put me on that film jury festival thing. Excelente! My brow. And, there's film after film at the festival. It was like, are all of these films sent in after the person making it was put in the hospital injuring themselves while filming? You don't see them at the actual event. Several of them, yeah. And Barney. And they did actually put Bumblebee Man in Burns' film, complete in costume and everything. And he goes and gives Judah Ben-Hur water, and it's a plastic bottle. I was saying, Burns, coming Eudora. I said the quiet part loud and the loud part quiet. I'll take 10. And the itchy and scratchy. Just hook it to my veins. What's with Marge's eyes as Homer talks beer nuts and snakes? Beer nuts and snakes, yeah. And Bumblebee Man between these fancy suit-clad men. And Lovitz and Dan are on the commentary, which is great. Lisa's Weeding. Yes, that was intentional. Pure Flanders. Please call a doctor. I don't know why, but every time I rewatch the episode, I always remember it as being Lenny instead of Smithers. Marge, that is a loom, but you're not weaving, you're texting to your offspring. Stop it. Meh. Whatever. Here, Esquilite. Here, Esquilites. You can't see into the present. The happy squirrel. The world has become a very different place. And then, we see that, no, it's just for auditions. It's not that different. Or it's not different in that way. I can't wait to see that play. In Memory of a Real Tree, yeah. Wow. Thanks for holding my book while I tied my shoe. And the robot, melting because of crying. He can make you laugh with no more than frantic flailing of his limbs. Steel Wheelchair Tour of 2010. And the Big Ben blinking 1200 digital. And they point out in the commentary that joke doesn't work now that they set themselves and stuff, but still a good joke. It was a good joke back when yeah. I don't know how we ended up with them. Oh, it's good to hear a boisterous American laugh. And marry me on a cow. And the picture phone, Marge keeps, yeah. I can't believe they're finally paying me for this. And Bart has Homer stubble. And they point out in the commentary, that's very disturbing. Still running due to the lengthy appeals process. And Homer still has his old job. And adult Milhouse looks just like Milhouse's hairless dad. Will that girl ever shut up? There'll be fewer drunks. These seem to be in order. I'll be in the hammock. And thaw you out. Well, we're up to 15. And the branded schooling, Martin Phantom of the Opera. Otto now owns a cab company, and she starts hyperventilating. As long as they're not squatting a ditch, poking berries up their nose. And if they are... And Maggie smiles all the way through Flaggate. Yeah, enjoy. Still warm. See, Lisa? You were worried about nothing. Oh, Lisa, I'd be willing to go through anything for you. And then he goes through the floor. The compost broke my fall. Be a dear. Run a bath. Maggie throws up devil horns as she eats fancily. I said, pull my finger. The only thing bruised in that fall was my spine. So, this driving on the other side of the road makes you feel at home, you? I'd be honored to wear those things. Aw. I didn't even notice it, indeed. When we hid in the dumpster behind the pornographic warehouse. Yeah. An even more mutated fish by the plant. Makes me want to get married a third time. We had one in his honor. I had one in his honor. I went to a strip club. Since the time you learned to pin your own diapers. And Maggie just barely gets interrupted, and Nelson Jr. goes, ha-ha, out here in the Jeep showing us some nature. Can I do anything to change things? No, but try to look surprised. And I specialize in, giving foretellings where you get screwed around. And he just throws the smoke bomb, and then she just stops cackling. Yeah. I ate 7 pounds of fudge. It has a really sweet ending. And they point out in the commentary, they put one line under the eye of the Simpson parents. Homer's heavier and he's down to 1 hair. Marge's blue hair has grayed a little. And that's pretty much all the change they made to the designs. And yeah, it works really well. Nice, simple designs. 2 Dozen and One Greyhounds. love the first bit with the rhino that, you know, oh, don't worry, they got the rhino back, and then you see the rhino attack. However, the other rhino, prepare to be worn out. Yes, the dog. Years of TV radiation. Well, I'll be darned. Heart Mountain. Looks like he keeps trying to jump over him, but he can't quite make it. Go on, boy. You can do it. Uh-oh. And she has raw meat in her purse. Lady and the Scamp. A really small dog just fell out of Santa's girlfriend. Wow. Cook those dogs. And then, you know, after all of that, 25, so it was just one dog that took really long. Yeah. The puppy formerly known as Prince. The Lord has finally blessed us with a real family. Get that cat out of the way. Mom, why are you putting flea collars on us? Oh, it's just easier that way. Oh, this way. And the chips. And apparently Dan ad-libbed. Originally, it was just like, it was like supposed to be dough each time or something like that. And it was his idea to change it slightly. You know, this time, mainly your mother. We just get rid of them? Yep. Completely unrelated. Ah, one of these. Nothing at all went wrong. Ah, it's a demon bird. See you in heck from heaven. Who wouldn't? There's something about his face you don't trust. You don't say. I'm dusting for Prince. Maybe he'll sell you one of the 25 he got last night. And, you know, we see him wash them, and we realize, you know, just a little bit later, you know, not many, you know, a minute later or something, he specifically sat down and carefully washed them to be really sweet before turning them into clothes. And I really love the song "See My Vest," parody of Be Our Guest. I really like the vest, I gather, yeah. Na. You gotta admit it's catchy. Hush, puppies. What, dogs always land on their feet? That's cats. No, it's dogs. And he holds it up, and it barely has any room to actually somehow turn around midair, but it does. Best 2 out of 3. And the doorknob twists all the way, yeah. And Bart lands on the floor, not in the laundry like Lisa. How did he get there before them? Call someone who cares. Give me that. I'll have to kill them all. But I can kill you. Ah, but look at you, standing there on your hind legs like a couple of Rory Calhouns. And then, you know, the ending with, Homer, no! Marge, you know my only joy in life is batting this light bulb. The PTA disbands. On the commentary, one of the people talks about how, like, the writer who came up with the idea thought that it would be really exciting that the PTA would disband, and the guy on the commentary thought that was the most boring part, so he made it the title of the episode, even though it doesn't even happen, and he has that extreme overreaction, the guy who jumps out of a window to, yeah. I love the old bus blowing up. The kids are playing in the hole again. And the braking procedure. Of course, we don't keep the cannon loaded. It's just common sense. You know, the show very easily could have shown it firing, and other episodes would have. And it's not, that wouldn't have been better or worse or anything, but it's just, it's really great to have that set up and then that payoff instead of, yeah. And the extra education, the 9th Bearded Infantry. But they were too brave to accept surrender. That's accurate both to history and the way it's presented. Okay, children, switch. Oof, I shouldn't have eaten the mint first. And the permission slips. Be good. For the love of God, please be good. And they contain essential inks. Prove me wrong, kids. Prove me wrong. Why don't I just drink plenty of milk? And the books that they have. And well, I had to clean it up a little. And the PA, and Skinner just says, my authority is total. And they play Pop Goes the Weasel. That's the most fun song they can think of. And he can't stand that they play that. Yeah. Great news, Mom. Horrible news, Mom. And the strike preparedness kit. Bart, leave the crowbar at home. Man, Milhouse's parents suck. And Bart at the construction site. And then the foreman really does have Bart's voice. And says, ay caramba. Checkmate, checkmate, checkmate. That's the American way. And Lisa losing it. Well, it's always in the last place you look. Operation Strike Make Go Longer. Purple Monkey Dishwasher. That's the game of telephone for you. And Bart and Milhouse at recess. And Jimbo watches soaps with his mom. I never thought I'd get tired of, luxury problems. And the bank. What are you doing with my money in your house, Fred? Grade me. In this house, we obey the laws of thermodynamics. And the PTA crowd waffling. And I guess we'll just have to agree to disagree. I don't agree to that. Neither do I. They literally are agreeing to disagreeing. Replace teachers with super intelligent cyborgs. Oh, you better believe that's a pattern. No, you can't play with it. You won't appreciate it on as many levels as I do. And then Mo with the and again Bart makes some names that In my weaker moments, I almost pity them, but then I remind myself they're trying to teach. And I love Leopold. I mentioned in her earlier Thoughts video. I love this scene of just okay. You've dealt with all these other substitute teachers. It's going to stop now, Leopold. All right, you listen up, you little freaks. Fun stops here. What was it? You're gonna shut your stinging traps and behave. This is one substitute you're not gonna scroll with. And they're all like, oh no, we have to get Leopold. Marge Simpson. Yeah. And her as a teacher, and the various booby traps that that Bart set up, and the first one that he thought of was the tack, not the death trap. Oh, kids have been doing that one since my day. And what was it? It took the kids 40 minutes to locate Canada. How could they find it? All tuckered away down there. That literally couldn't be more wrong. And he sent us all home when he got his beard caught in the pencil sharpener. And Grandpa with that. Okay, let me see. What about this? Oh, no, okay. This, no. You're on your own. I love it. You can start right now. I need that money for candy. And the diversion. The continuation of the recess scene. And, gotta love why Bart thinks that he and Milhouse can accomplish it. Me? Go to my office? Highly irregular, but alright. And then at 4 p.m. it looks like they've agreed, but nope. It's alright, kids. Just ignore the murderer. I'm listening. And on the commentary they talk about how, Dan ad-libbed lines such as the finger thing means the taxes. It's just supposed to be, rabble from the crowd, but he's like, ah, the taxes. That finger thing means the taxes. Round Springfield. I've mentioned before in these thoughts videos that I think that the first 7 seasons of The Simpsons, okay, season 1 is good to great. Seasons 2 through 7, consistently great. Basically every single episode is great. This is the exception. You know, I already mentioned that I don't love the clip show from this season either, but you know, specifically, this is the exception. I cannot explain it. This episode is just not funny. You know, I feel like it's, you know, that episode, I want to say from the season before this, stupid TV, be more funny. Just the pacing and the delivery are off. Material is uninspired. You know, I'm gonna note the ones that aren't terrible. You know, some of them are even good. There's also a lot of the animation just moves too fast or too slowly, awkwardly in one way or another. Yeah, that does come off as convenient timing for Bart's pain, which will make it easier to find. And the hot dog vendor, Stars and Stripes forever, hopefully not forever. We'll just get you a new jazz man. The butterfly, $500. Yes, well, cool. And Bart's fantasy, cross out 250, right in 500, yeah. And the whip pans with music. You were the only one who believed me. So she's in pain. She wants everyone else to be too, hence the music. Well, that is what Bleeding Gums said jazz was about. And the clouds are great. And the... yeah. In the commentary, they talk about how, you know, they're not actually anti-French and such. And you know, in my Psychonauts review, I say what I have to say about that specific kind of joke. But as for, oh, but that's not us saying it, you didn't have to make a joke like that at all. Also, you didn't exactly have other characters react, and apparently when they had Homer say that he finds Ted Koppel informative and witty, that was them saying what they really thought of him, which, before hearing that in commentary, I'd always thought to be the opposite. Who wants to agree with Homer on something? He's specifically the guy that no one wants to be, that, you know, you're embarrassed to be like in any way. The Springfield Connection. Now, part of the story, according to the commentary, is based on personal experience. John Williams must be rolling in his grave. Well, you're giving 3-Card Monty a bad name. I'm pretty sure that's Dan doing that voice too, and then, yeah. Adrenaline. See? We'll try to make it 12. Lisa, unhand your brother. I know, I've found myself shocked to find regular ham no longer thrilling me. And the cart disappears into what's apparently a real cheese wheel. And the pizza talk. You did what? We thought it'd be Marge. 1 solid weekend of training. I told you, you don't get a gun until you tell me your name. Liberal. I've had it up to here with ya. Rules. I love the gun range. And the dive to take a bullet discussion. As long as it's constitutional. Oh, huh, she's already a cop. It's your turn to sleep in, and they put on sleeping hats, yeah. And the dumpster fire. And Burns was already shoplifting, and really obviously too. In Class 9 vehicle. How are you? Law-abiding. I'm done. oh, I'm not on duty, and then gets the gun out. Yeah. And Flanders falls for it. I really love Homer's last few lines of that, and apparently Dan ad-libbed them, which I didn't know. I've always loved those lines, and I didn't know originally that Dan ad-libbed them, but I do think that without those lines, it's much less funny. Not, I mean, we, the audience, already know that nothing actually did happen to them, because we see what Flanders doesn't see. We see Homer gleefully setting it up, rather than, Flanders just walks on and sees it, and he has no idea that Homer was the one who set it up. But what makes it so funny is that Homer doesn't want to stop laughing, but he does realize, oh no, he thinks it's serious. He doesn't realize I'm joking, and it's like he's trying to say, you thought they were dead, but they're not though. But you thought they were, and that's what makes it so funny. And like I said, he's still laughing while saying this, but he does realize, like, some part of him is like horrified, and he's trying to fix it, and Flanders is just, it's just, yeah, that's yeah, it's really, really darkly comedic, but it's funny specifically because Homer realizes and almost kind of feels bad. I wonder what could going 100 miles per... Yeah, that's okay. I'm supposed to be working too. Marge, not here. I choose to waive that right. What do you call it? A car hole. I had to come see what's so funny. Finally, it's in so many of these, pieces of fiction, they just laugh at this kind of thing, and somehow no one comes by to see what's so funny. Yeah. Not so fast, and then he moves slower. And then, the firing range again. And the, Flanders puts up the thing, and she shoots it, and she's like, what? He's like, well, I guess I was putting up Halloween decorations a little early. Criticism accepted. He's not like, you shot at me, what the? He's just, well, okay, fair enough. No, what I was wondering, sorry to lose you, Simpson. That's it, I'm looking at his cards. Ah, crap, I fold. And Dan and Yardley are on the commentary, and they point out in the commentary, Marge is a real cop. It's everything around her that's comical, rather than the other way around. And again, that's, it's important. You can make a world where everything is ridiculous funny, but it can work really well in comedy when it's just something that's off, but other things work the way that, the real world, does. I guess an example, I mean, yeah, hypothetically, Liar Liar, if that movie, if like everyone was just forced to tell the truth, rather than, or if the film started before we knew that it was set in basically the real world, there's some of the physical comedy pushes the boundaries a little, but mostly it's the real world. It just so happens that little boys' wishes get granted, and if he had wished for his teddy bear to come alive, it would have been a very different movie. But this is clearly a world where people do lie all the time, and it's risky not to lie, and so because of that, it's funny to see Jim Carrey forced to tell the truth. But yeah, if like a lot of, I mean, there are, I've seen stuff where more than one character is forced to tell the truth, but usually there are other characters who, or at least characters react to it, whereas if you just had like a long story where everyone was always telling the truth and nobody really reacted to it, it just wouldn't be as funny. Lemon of Troy. Love the sign. And the things that are in Bart's path. And Bart's fantasy. It was an accident. Wow. I can't believe it. You'd think he'd learned his lesson when he decapitated Jebediah. Mom, when you were giving that speech, you're boring, Springfield. And, catch trout, the German... Wow. Yeah, I like to huck them at cars. We've squozen our whole supply. And, this whole sequence is recreating all these quaint childhood images, but then some kind of twist making them not quaint anymore. I love the Shelbyville versions of the kids. You're stupid. Look at the weak baby. You're stupid. You stupid weak baby. Someone needs a thesaurus. And they've taken our lemons. We can't do without a single one. So let's throw them. And Grandpa and the root marn. Kids, if you don't learn Roman numerals, you'll never know the dates certain movies were copyrighted. They're always eating candy in Shelbyville. They love the sweet taste. Wow, that's a prime example of, like, when you think negatively of someone, then that, by definition, if he didn't think that the candy wrapper came from someone he hated, he wouldn't think anything negatively of. Yeah, it's not like he doesn't love candy. We'll choke their rivers with our dead. Mom, you won't believe this, but something you said really got through to me. I choose to take that literally. Teuton, son. Teuton. And Milhouse's fanny is so accurate to child boy logic. Totally. Yeah, at that age, you totally believe, yeah, I'm going to put this thing on, and it's going to, yeah. And Bart assigning the roles. And then crossing the line, and then we see the girls just running back and forth like it's nothing, because it's nothing. And the newspaper, once a day, every week. I don't believe you. And I'm not sure if it's Rod or Todd, but he takes one step back from, Milhouse about to explode, and everyone else is just like, what? And the Fudd beer returns from the hick place Homer visited in Colonel Homer. Well, do you have a number? We could reach them? They said that if some of our kids show up at the morgue, they'll send us a fax. And Flanders is satisfied with that. Sometimes they waffle on, like, other times Flanders is horrified when something has happened to one of his kids. In Homer, what was it? Homer and Flanders, Homer loves Flanders, something like that. He was like, no, we have to go home. One of my kids got, that thing in, from one of the food in his eye, and now he's like, don't worry, they'll tell us if they're dead. It's not like one of his kids is there too. I don't know, maybe I guess maybe he's just really favoring the other kid, and yeah, that would make things easy. I mean, what was it Homer said? Here comes another mouth. Yeah. And no, this is country. There's never been anything close to eliminated, I swear. Yeah. And they actually believe that he's from Shelby. You leave that to the Baron and me. And then he's like, he has a really fake-looking scar and a wig, and yeah. And Martin and Nelson together are really funny. And just before Bart is like, I can't. I thought you knew how to read lips. I assumed I could. And I'd fill his mouth with stink bugs. Not in my mouth. That's what the kid would say. See, sometimes he's really quick. I guess that's why we beat you in football nearly half the time. That would mean they beat you more than half the time. And what was it, rub-on tattoos. Kill, destroy, motorcycle. Look, someone's attractive cousin. Launch me, boys. Oh, wet cement. And the earlier like, could there be a better sign? And now it's the worst thing. Boy, what I wouldn't give for that flying motorcycle now. You had your chance. And the tiger feeding area. And the only thing that's over is that transmission. That's exactly what he said. So this is what it's like when doves cry. And after that scene, I guess Shelbyville Millhouse just goes back, and we know that that's his name. We don't. I'm pretty sure we'd never find out in this episode, maybe later, whatever. What Shelbyville Bart's real name is, but Shelbyville Millhouse really is called Millhouse. That we find that out when Millhouse and they mention on the commentary, right? They really, that line is they use. Is this the end for Millhouse? I guess he just. I mean, they become friends, but I'm almost 100% certain Shelbyville Millhouse, maybe that was before they thought of that joke. He's there in the impound lot when we see from really far away, before the parents show up and such. So I guess he just agreed to not tell on them. I got it. I don't got it. And then Rocky 7, Adrian's Revenge. That's actually, that could totally have been the considering just how bad those sequels got. Yeah, just to spend a few moments on it. First one's amazing, and I'm not into sports movies usually, but it's and the influence that it's had on later, and just second one, we're already into unnecessary sequel territory. Third one is okay. The fourth one is ridiculous. The fifth one, there are actually a few things in there that aren't too bad, but it's so 90s. All the rap music, and this is coming from a huge fan of rap music. Anyway, and I have not watched any past 5, but I got on sale the first 5 at a time when I had only watched the first 2, and I was like, I could definitely rewatch the first 2, and okay, I'll see about the other 3. Anyway, and in reality, Rocky 7 is called Creed, but yeah, it's still going. It took longer than they thought in this episode to get there. There's a lemon behind that rock. And the car impound lot. And Homer's like, nothing's gonna stop me from talking. Lemon tree? Stupider like a fox. I think you mean crazy. Yeah. That's it. I'll take care of him. And he throws himself, and the dog eats it without slowing down. Faster, boy! He's got a taste for meat now. And they get and they drive away, and it's like, yeah, and then it knocks off the tree just as they get into Springfield, and they have to back up, and they put on the commentary. That's the sound, the beeping, the sound of a truck backing up. That is the perfect sound of failure for this kind of thing. And on the commentary track, he then goes on to say that they're way too loud, and yeah, they are. Who Shot Mr. Burns Part 1? I will talk about the clues in the next season thoughts video when we actually get the answer. I don't necessarily think that anybody watching this video don't already know the answer, but yeah, that's the decision. Burns failing to understand and use Homer's name gets increasingly and deliciously ridiculous over the course of the episode. Thrown in the bog. Miss Hoover, the floor is shaking. And she's like, remember the time you thought, and smack. Yeah. Smells like one of Van Houten's. It does not. And then again, yeah. I love Skinner and Chalmers together, and Superintendent Chalmers. Why is it that when I heard the word school and the word exploded, I immediately thought of the word Skinner? And it's like, your custodian struck oil, and great celebration. We also found this. And the meeting, Burns and such, and the alliteration with the letter P. I'm not gonna even try to repeat that. Yeah. And Homer, it ends up on Homer's desk, and he immediately makes the huge mistake that none of the others did. And the return address. Who doesn't know the return address from yeah? And he runs in. Here's your package, Mr. Burns. My name is the return address. You. What was it? Dunderhead? Something like yeah. Smithers, who is this? The boss doesn't even know my name. It's not that he's being mocked or criticized that bothers him. It's just that yeah. And they point out on the commentary track too. Burns is really an awful person in this episode. He's having Smithers exercise while he goes play pinball, and the elevator with. He even knows Guillermo, who's wearing. You can barely see any of his face. You can see his eyes, and just maybe he has really dreamy eyes. I don't know, easy to recognize. And we could give every student a full scholarship, and they laugh, and that's really the situation summed up pretty well. I love the requests made by the staff of the school that I want a brand new filthy blanket. He doesn't want a clean blanket. It should still be filthy, but he does want a new one. And my staff are complaining about the mice in the kitchen. I want to hire a new staff. And Burns trying to pass as a kid, and some of these granted requests, double guitars, chocolate microscopes, and when and the thing with I don't have a secretary or an intercom, and Smithers, help me subdue this beast, and he comes in. I'm sorry, sir, this was all I could find. And he tries to shoot at him with the... Please don't waste those. And the dinner scene is great. Building a better tomorrow for him. We got an air hockey table. And again, Skinner chuckles at the fact that as soon as they enter the high school, they're not going to have... They're going to go right back to crappy school. Yeah. And Burns drinks the school milkshake. He drinks it up. And, cuts you see Bart and Santa's being hit by the oil, and then, the scene ends, and we cut to the animal hospital, and it's like, that's a little harsh for Bart, and then it's Santa's who's being, his condition has been upgraded from stable to frisky, and gets the, and he's in the cast. Wouldn't want you to gnaw on those cats, boy, and puts the thing in. And out walks Nelson. Ha ha. And it turns out that the school doesn't have any oil, and then talking about, okay, so we don't have any oil. What about the expensive stuff we wanted? Can we still have it? No. Never give up, Willie. And we have to eliminate certain music, and he punches through the drum, and then when Willie leaves, it's whole again. I guess that they drew that without knowing that they were going to. I don't know. And oh, Dad, how can you work for a monster like Mr. Burns? I don't know, he's not all bad. He did send me this nice thank you card. Marge, Bart, Lisa, and Maggie. Dad, this doesn't have your name on it. Kids, won't you step outside for a second? And covers the sound, and Flanders is like, that's the loudest profanity I've ever heard. Hey, if you're getting loaded off them fumes, I'm gonna have to charge you. And door opens. Man alive! There are men alive in here. I'm detecting over what was it, 20,000 toxins in the air, and then Barney burps and beeps much more. Yeah. And well, you must be very proud. Nope, because son. And yet again, Burns is a Bond villain. Since the dawn of time. No, we have not. But thanks for the telling glimpse into your mind, Monty. I'll do no such thing. So you're not arguing that you're on the brink of insanity. And he fires Smithers, and then he plays Godzilla, which, to be fair, we all would with a model town like that. I want a bib too. I love all the insulting Burnses in Homer's car. And then, he's spray painting, and I am Homer Simpson. Who the devil are you? And he just shakes him, repeating his name. Yeah. Hey, the lamp's running away. That's my dog, man. So long, lamp. And it's been brought to my attention that a lot of you are stroking guns. So I will step aside and open up the floor. He's not urging them not to commit violent acts. I lost my bar. I lost his bar. He's causing it all to yell. They point out in the commentary show. That's one of the when Marge gets incredibly upset. That's the worst thing she can think of. It's not all these really awful things that have happened to people. It's just we're yelling and we really shouldn't be. That's not nice. And Maggie angrily pacifier sucks. Perhaps I can sell him a little oil. Wow. I've decided to protect myself after I was attacked in my office by an unidentified assailant. Wow. Have you ever seen the sun set at 3 p.m.? Once. Wow. Sorry, I was in the can. And the Singing in the Rain parody. After all these years, things are finally starting to go my way. Again, we see Burns's ceaseless self-pity when it comes to, will there ever be a rainbow? And he's always like, this, okay, finally, it's never enough. And Hibbert chuckles, of course. Can you, audience? And that concludes our broadcast day. Click. Please comment, thumbs up, and subscribe for more content.